Good evening. It is 47 days to the general election. Welcome to this edition of TV47 News. Tonight, we have a lot lined up for you in the world of business, politics, sports, and everything in between. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Catherine Simolo. Begin, but first, let's have a look at the highlights. Tonight, Commission for University Education makes dramatic U-turn on SAKAJA's degree case. This as SAKAJA files contempt of court case against the commission.
Ugonjwa, ujinga, umaskini na ufisadi. Sawa. Hawa tukiweza hawa madui manne, Kenya itanuka.
RAILA takes his campaigns to SAMBURU County.
Every month, before we pay salary for those of us who are able-bodied, we will pay for people who are on cash transfer first.
As DP Ruto pitches tent in Kajiado County.
Lakini badala ya kujenga nyumba kwa bibi na watoto ambao wako nao, pesa ikiingia, akitoka benki, akipitia hapo mtaani kidogo, anakutwa na kengine hapo.
Stop wasting money on mpango wa kando, President Uhuru Kenyatta tells Kenyan men.
Jameni wazee, tubadilike, tujue ya kwamba hii cheti sio yako, ni yako na watoto wako.
A very good evening to you and welcome once more. Tonight, Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja can breathe a sigh of relief after the Commission for University Education withdrew a letter revoking his Ugandan team university degree. This as Senator Sakaja moved to court to file contempt of court proceedings against Professor Chacha for defying court orders. This as also Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha urged politicians not to politicize the matter. Our senior political affairs reporter Paulo Kamau now reports.
After a strenuous week fighting off fake degree claims inside and outside court, Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja's 2 long, painful weeks came to an end after the Commission for University Education withdrew a letter revoking his degree certificate. The Commission Chair, Professor Chacha Nyagoti Chacha, in an affidavit Wednesday, told the court that it's no longer tenable to exercise jurisdiction on the matter since it has withdrawn last Tuesday's letter revoking the degree pending investigations.
This noise you are hearing is political. It's not professional, and I really don't have time to waste there. It's political. It is not professional at all. And by the way, it is important to allow Q to do its work. There is nothing important. If you want to check whether I graduated with a degree in medicine, you pick a phone and call the University of Lagos and see whether I had transcripts there.
Sakaja, who has cried foul on the degree saga, attributing it to political witch hunt, through his lawyers, Elias Mutuma and Associates, filed a contempt of court proceedings against Professor Chacha for disobeying court orders, having held a press conference where he summoned him to explain the authenticity of his degree certificate despite a court order.
I would say that because of all this noise, everybody's degree should now be checked. Everyone.
Yes.
So that we find out if this is actually a problem, because it's becoming a big issue. You can't have a degree in 6 months or 2 years. The minimum is prescribed in terms of hours and units. You can't say that you have 10 units, but each unit is half an hour. That's also fake. So why don't you leave us to do our job properly?
Sakaja was on Monday grilled by the DCI in a session that lasted for 3 hours. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now, the Kenya Human Rights Commission has sued the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission over its decision not to use a manual register of voters in the August polls. According to KHRC, the decision will lock out a lot of voters if implemented, as Modoni Maina now tells us.
The Kenya Human Rights Commission claims the
IEBC decision might block over 2.5 million voters in the election process should the Kenya Integrated Election Management System KIMS kit fail. The commission further argues that IEBC has a duty to facilitate and not deny any eligible Kenyan their patriotic right to vote, terming the decision as indictable. The petition is also backed by 6 other civil society organizations, including Katiba Institute, Commission of Jurists, ICJ Kenya, Haki Yetu, Inuka Kenya ni Sisi Limited, Africa Center for Open Governance and Constitution, and Reform Education Consortium. IEBC and its chairperson Wafula Chebukati have been named as respondents in the petition, while Communications Authority and Crown Trust are interested parties. The move comes just 2 days after IEBC announced that the August 9th election will be conducted without a manual voter register.
If you cannot be identified biometrically, then you will be identified alphanumerically. That, to us, answers your question, that you cannot be identified with your biometrics, then you should be able to be identified in the KIMS kits by alphanumerically.
IEBC has already confirmed that there will be a total of at least 22 million registered voters in the 46,232 polling stations countrywide. Muthoni Maina, TV47.
To politics now, Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga took his charm offensive to Samburu County, where he continued to woo voters ahead of the August polls. Raila has promised the pastoralist community that his government will issue them with a livestock insurance cover to cushion them from drought that continues to ravage the area, as Josh Onsare reports.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance flag bearer Raila Odinga Wednesday took the Azimio One Kenya Gospel to Samburu County, where he continued to popularize the Azimio Manifesto. While in Samburu and Baragoi areas, Raila promised Samburu residents who are pastoralists that he will ensure they get a livestock insurance cover to cushion the community over losses incurred during drought season.
Kama kuna ukame na sasa nyasi imenyauka yote, tuko na chakula kwa ng'ombe yetu. Sawa sawa? Hiyo sasa itasaidia wafugaji. Tena tunataka kufanya kitu inaitwa bima ya mfugo, livestock insurance.
Kwa mikono yako ndio wafugaji wako safe. Sisi tuko safe na mkono ya nani? Ya baba na nani? Na mama, kwa sababu ametupa mama akuwe deputy president wetu, Martha Wangare Karua.
Ile vita ambayo imekuwa hapa miaka twende turudi, huyu mzee akichaguliwa hamutasikia vita ya ng'ombe na mbuzi na watu tena.
Raila was accompanied by leaders allied to the coalition, promised to revive the ailing economy if elected president in the August polls.
Tunaleta mpango ambao inaitwa Social Protection Program. Hiyo kama kule Amerika inafanyika, kule Ulaya inafanyika, hata kule Brazil, hata kule Namibia. Jamii hao watapata kutoka serikali kila mwezi shilingi 6,000.
The Azimio Brigade condemned their opponents, terming them clueless on matters affecting Kenyans.
Pa Kenya, kila mtu iko na historia yake, si namna hiyo? William Ruto iko na historia yake na baba pia iko na historia yake. Lakini historia ya William Ruto sinajulikana. Si mnajua? Ni historia ya nini? Ni historia ya nini? Sisi tutachagua kiongozi mwaka hii kulingana na historia ya kila mtu.
Wale jamaa, wale watu wa Tanga wanasema baba anadanganya watu, hakuna pesa. Mimi namwambia pilipili Swahila ya kuashani.
Mambo ya William Samoei Ruto yeye anasema hiyo inaitwa hot air.
Upepo ule ambao una joto nyingi na hauna chochote ambacho utafanya ndani.
Tutajipanga. Kujipanga ni kusema tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 kura yote itakuwa ni ya nani? Itakuwa ni ya nani?
Tomorrow, Raila will lead Azimio campaigns in Marsabit County. Josh Onsare, TV 47.
Our Deputy President William Ruto has intensified his presidential campaigns. Today, the second-in-command met persons with disability in Nairobi and Kajiado counties, promising to, among other things, issue them with a scholarship if elected president. Mike Kagwongo with the details.
As clock ticks towards the August 9th polls, Deputy President William Ruto has also moved with speed to secure the votes of the marginalized in his quest to clinch the presidency. Early Wednesday, the second-in-command held an economic forum with the people with disability, meant to sign a charter with them, noting that it was wrong for the government to discriminate against such people.
Before we pay salary for those of us who are able-bodied, we will pay for people who are on cash transfer first. Because if there are people who need the money more than us, it is the people who are in the vulnerable space, the orphans, people living with disability, and our old men and women beyond the age of 70.
Ruto insisted that disabled people will want to pay taxes if they have businesses that are doing well, but most of them have no access to credit, business opportunities, or even contracts, and so cannot contribute meaningfully to growing our country.
We are also going to be deliberate on access to jobs by people living with disabilities. We're going to work with the private sector so that we can see how do we encourage the private sector to hire more people living with disability. What tax incentives are we going to work out?
Among the 22 million voters registered to participate in the August 9th polls, people with disabilities constitute of 4.7 million, and both Ruto and Odinga are striving to secure their votes.
We should move away from assuming that you are invisible. The society must know that you are there and you're going to make serious contributions, and you're ready to make those contributions to the people of this country and beyond.
You're a PWD, you're a parent of PWD, to see what Jackie said. You have a relative who is a PWD. You know that the right government that will be there for you is the one that listens to you. It will be the government of William Samoei Ruto.
Kama kuna hustlers ni watu walemavu, kwa sababu hata kuingia kwa matatu na huko kwa wheelchair, Your Excellency, lazima utalipa fare mara 3. Utalipa fare yako mwenyewe, utalipia wheelchair fare, na utalipa fare ya ule mwenye ataenda kukusukuma kwa hiyo wheelchair. So hata kama tunaenda kufanya biashara, saa zingine hata kupata faida ni kidogo sana.
Resonates with the 10% of persons with disabilities that constitute the population of this republic. Out of 50 million people, there are 5 million strong people with disabilities. And we want to declare here and now that these 5 million, about 2 million who are voters, they will vote for His Excellency William Samoei Ruto.
DP Ruto has been traversing the country holding town hall meetings with residents as he popularizes his presidential bid.
The 5th, once you get there, I think you should put a policy that any public means should have a way that a person with short stature will be able to get in without being lifted by anyone. We could have somebody on a wheelchair, like they could have like a space they can be pushed in, because I don't know if somebody will talk about that here.
Later on Wednesday, Ruto and his allies wooed voters in Kajiado County, where they assured Kenyans that Kenya KWANZA government will implement all development projects initiated by the Jubilee government.
Kama biashara yako ni kidogo, hata kama wewe ni mama mboga, ama mtu wa bodaboda, ama mtu wa mtumba, mimi nataka uelewe ya kwamba ni jukumu letu kama serikali tukusaidie.
Ni siku chache tu zimebaki. Siku karibu 30, ukiongeza 10 hivi Uhuru atakuwa ametoka State House.
This as Deputy President William Ruto's scheme to intensify enough baskets of votes from marginalized groups in the country to fill the 50+1 equation as he intends to occupy the house on the hill. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Ngong Racecourse in Dagoretti South, Nairobi County.
Well, thank you, Mike Gongo, for that. Now, Azimio la Umoja running mate Martha Karua today camped in Nanyuki, Laikipia County, where she continued to popularize Raila Odinga's presidential bid as the Kenya Kwanza running mate Rigathi Gachagua took the Kenya Kwanza gospel to Nakuru County. This story was produced by Andrew Juma.
Azimio running mate Martha Karua today took the Azimio campaigns to Nanyuki, Laikipia County. Addressing Nanyuki residents, Karua said the Azimio government will address all the problems bedeviling Kenyans, among them the high cost of living, water scarcity and unemployment among the youth.
Si ujue ukichagua Azimio, mambo ya fisi itaisha. Kama wewe umelemewa na mambo ya maji, serikali ya Azimio inasema hatuwezi kuwa tunalia njaa mwaka nenda mwaka rudi. Tutarainisha mambo ya kilimo, mambo ya kunyunyusa maji, mambo ya kila kitu, tuone tumejilisha.
It is also the most important election in more than 2 generations. And it is going to define whether Kenya takes off as a wealthy nation or we are led by those who wish to plunder and to steal from us.
So wananchi wa Nyahururu, tuungane wote pamoja, tusonge mbele pamoja na mama na baba.
Karua urged Nanyuki residents to vote for Raila Odinga in the August polls.
Hewa imebadilika. Imebadilika au haijabadilika? Sasa nimekutuma kama balozi. Nyinyi nyote ni mabalozi wa Azimio. Ingia kwa kila nyumba, kwa kila pembe. Ingieni, elezeeni watu ya kwamba serikali ni moja tu inatarajiwa, ile inaweza kuwasaidia.
Elsewhere in the Western region, Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula and former Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale lashed at Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, urging him to keep off Kenya Kwanza politics.
Wachana na kijana yetu. And I want to tell you for free here and now. Whether you like it or not, Malala will be on the ballot paper of Kakamega.
Ingieni katika campaign, tukutane tarehe 9. Mumekuwa kotini Kakamega, Malala amemshinda. Mumempeleka Nairobi, Malala amemshinda. Mimi ningependa kuambia Oparanya, kama wewe ni mwanaume, toka kotini, kuja hapa kwa ground, tumenyane na wewe mwili.
In his response, Oparanya rubbished the claims accusing Musalia Mudavadi and other Kenya Kwanza leaders of betraying the Western region.
These people have let lawyers down, and now they should stop, focus on their campaign of Tanga Tanga and leave us alone. The lawyers should support Raila Amolo Odinga. And I know with the Raila Amolo Odinga, lawyers are bound to benefit more. So all of you should support Azimio.
Reporting for TV 47, I'm Hemini Gilda Mugeni.
Balozi wa Azimio.
One Kenya running mate, Azimio One Kenya running mate Martha Karua is currently meeting Muslim leaders here in Nairobi, and in attendance is Sports CS Amina Mohammed. Let's cross over to Upper Hill area where the meeting is currently underway and listen in.
It does define the socio-economic and political sphere that we operate in. Actually, politics is the common denominator that determines everything else. And therefore, even when you don't want to run, when you don't want to be a politician in quotes, you still are engaged in politics in some way or other. And if you do not participate in making the critical decision of who should run the affairs of your ward, of your county, and of your country, the constituencies included, then you are ceding your right to be governed properly. So it is very important that we all involve ourselves. I got into politics as a young lawyer. I will say maybe out of choice in the sense that I used to listen to Parliament Today over KBC, which was the only radio. And I used to get interested in the happenings in Parliament and in the debate. But when I started working, I forgot about that for a while. Until I started working and saw that so many things, including my professional environment, were being affected, sometimes negatively, other times positively, by politics. And it became necessary to engage in politics in order to help myself and others by improving the environment. I was a youth in the late 80s to mid 90s when we needed to fight for enlarged democratic space. And I think that our level of involvement depends on each one of us. It doesn't have to be the same, but let us all get involved in some way, if by not running, by supporting a political party or candidates of your choice. Because if we don't do so, then you are actually ceding your right to be governed properly. So I'm very, very delighted to see all of you this evening, because coming here means you have taken an active interest in how our great country is governed. And I keep on repeating this, and I will tonight, that all those Western countries, some of us and our children love to go to, whether for treatment, for holiday, for shopping, or looking for economic opportunities. In the last century, none of them was as developed as they were. There was famine in the West. There was plague. There were serious illnesses and mass deaths. But citizens like us got together, and the result is that those well-developed democracies and economies that we see. We are therefore called upon as Kenyans to actually get actively involved in the affairs of our country at whatever level. And that's why I once again say thank you to you for getting involved by coming here tonight, and for whatever other level of involvement each one of you has had. I want, before I forget, to thank my good friends and indeed everybody who has spoken and said very kind words about me. However, I'm just an imperfect human being like all of us. And indeed, we are all imperfect, and all we are required to do is to strive to do our best when called upon. That's all that we have to do. We don't always do our best. Sometimes we do just a little bit, the little bit we can. Other times we go out of the way to do our best. But we keep on praying each day that we do our best for ourselves and for our country, because a country is not like a wardrobe which you can change. Even if any one of us shifts and goes to another country, you still long for your home, where your roots are, your relatives are, your friends are, and where your success can be measured by your peers. If you go out there and you buy a mansion, you might not have anyone to show off to or anyone to invite, because I've been in other countries and people work 16 hours a day. They buy mansions that they are not able to enjoy. They buy big cars. They have money, but they are not able to have leisure because they work very hard. Not that we don't work hard, but we are blessed with different circumstances. And even when we work hard, we still have family. Time for family and for friends. When I say family, it's blood relatives and the family you choose for yourself, which is your friends. So we must always remember we are actually very lucky to have this country to call home. Good weather, spirit of community, because most of us, our lives are weaved around our families and our friends. Something very unique which is getting lost in the developed world, and which I hope even when we develop, we continue to keep. So I want to say that also as Azimio running mate, I and my captain, I like to say in Swahili kinara wangu, but in English I'll say my captain, we actually do recognize that we are imperfect human beings, but our commitment to you and to Kenyans is that we will try to do our best, and we will bank on you to remind us when we veer off course, because human beings are given to us. It is up to all of us to watch over each other and to remind each other. And when we make our commitments to you, we mean it, and we will be expecting you to remind us. When one is reminded, we don't always smile, because we might view it as a disturbance. But it is your duty to remind us, whether we smile or not. And I want to assure you that when we are reminded, we may not tell you that we appreciate, but somewhere in the night, those words will come back. And we will weigh them when we make our next moves. So be encouraged, and when you do give us our votes, because indeed I must also take this opportunity to seek your support so that the Azimio team can get an opportunity, together with you and the rest of Kenyans, to build this nation to the sort of nation we would want to see, where nobody starts.
Well, Azimio One Kenya Alliance running mate Martha Karua, they are meeting Muslim leaders, and they do understand that Sports CS Ambassador Amina Mohammed is also in attendance. And of course, our reporters will be trying to make sense of what is going to be said in that meeting that is currently ongoing. Let's move on now. Ken Lugwili, a man linked to the discovery of illegal weapons recovered from Kilimani area here in Nairobi, has surrendered to the police. Now, the man was found in possession of 20 firearms and 500 rounds of ammunition at his Kilimani offices. Chepto Boyd with the details.
DCI sleuths have arrested a businessman who was allegedly found in possession of a cache of weapons, including 20 high-caliber firearms and 500 rounds of ammunition at his Nairobi Kilimani home. At around 12 noon, Ken Lugwili alias Wycliffe Otieno Lugwili, accompanied by his lawyers, surrendered to the police at Kilimani Police Station soon after the Directorate of Criminal Investigations announced a manhunt for the suspect.
So the issue is that the guns were just recovered from his premises, which is a licensed gun dealership, and they were brought here. So we have not actually been, he has not recorded any statement, he has not been interrogated. So there are no accusations leveled against him at this point.
Lugwili, who is the proprietor of Vic Technologies Limited, surrendered to the police after his office was raided and the firearms recovered.
We are also trying to verify from our end what was the status upon which they were able to break and enter that premises. So those are things we need to verify. Whether there is a court order, that is information that we do not know. We have not been served as his advocates with any court order to break into that premises. So that is something that we need to verify and find out what is the veracity and what was the status or under what authority they did enter into the premises.
The anti-terror police unit has taken over the case, and investigations into the validity of him holding the firearms and links with the terror cells are ongoing. Chepto Boyd, TV47, Nairobi County.
That report there by Chepto Boyd takes us to a short break at 29 minutes past the hour. Don't go away, we'll be back with more.
or
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
how well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers. As we know, agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why nilieka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. It's no secret, construction ain't cheap. But how do we make it affordable? Different individuals are finding ways of cutting down cost by use of pre-stressed slabs other than reinforced concrete, recycling plastics to make pavers.
The brick is stronger, it's cheaper, and it's lighter.
And recycling wastewater in your household.
What happens to my waste from the washroom, the solid waste? All that can break down.
Those are just but a few. Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. we talk construction.
There's no alpha without an omega. There's no lead without any followers. No man is an island. We need each other. We need this conference.
We say it, we do it, we act it.
Kama una mpenzi wako, kila siku kama wanavyosema, kila siku mwishi mapenzi.
We don't toe the line, we set the standard. We don't eat the grass, we lead the pack.
As an alpha male, you're also a leader. Not just women, friends and family, but to everyone else you've never met before.
We are the beauty, the spice and the brains. The men's conference where men become alpha males.
And you can catch us every Wednesday at 10 p.m. This is The Grind. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot.
So I decided, let me just take this up, put the teaching on hold first. Let me try see where this can go.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, confusion marred the Nairobi Metropolitan Services trial launch of the Green Park terminus as commuters accused the NMS of poor planning. The test run, however, had to be cut short due to confusion and chaos witnessed. This as NMS insisted that the test run was a success. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
Confused passengers, a traffic snarl-up and infuriated matatu drivers was the state of affairs at the Green Park bus terminus this morning. NMS fourth test run of the soon-to-be new bus terminus was yet again not received well by both PSV motorists and passengers. The motorists decried poor planning by NMS and lack of enough space at the terminus, whereas the passengers couldn't stand the long distance they had to walk to their destination.
Leo imekuwa confusion. Mahali mimi nimeenda kupeleka magari zangu, ile mimi nasimamia, nimepata wale wanabebea hapo hawajaondolewa, wamekatalia hapo. Hawakubeba pia wao. Tukafuatana hapo. Mimi nikaona vizuri kwa sababu mimi mzee hakuna haja afita. Mimi nikatuliza fujo.
Niliamka 6 nikitokea huko Mlolongo, nikajua nakuja kuwekwa hapa Railways kwa sababu ile gari ilinibeba ilisema ukweli tunaenda Railways. Kufika huku hivi nikashukishwa place fulani hata mimi sikujui. Kushuka kwa gari nikapata place imeandikwa Madai. Kutoka Madai nikakuja nilikuwa naenda kufungua KCB bank yangu. Kwenda kufika huko KCB nimekaa na nilipewa only 1 hour peke yake nikuwe nimetoka nimerudi job.
Nimetoka Mole naenda Rongai. Hii imetengenezwa mzuri lakini sisi disable kutoka OTC kama mimi nimetoka OTC naenda Rongai. Hiyo distance kutoka huko mpaka hapa. Kwa nini wasituachie magari madogo huko na zingine zikuje huko? Wafanye utaratibu mzuri ndio sasa watu kama sisi tunakuwa rahisi kufanya nini? Kutembea.
The long day test run ended abruptly at 10 a.m. NMS claiming that it was a success. According to NMS, today's test run highlighted a few areas that require changes, hence serving its purpose.
We want also to improve on the quality of vehicles and the way the passengers are treated. So in terms of safety of crossing along there, I've said elaborately that we are going to construct a tunnel together with Kena that will enable safer crossing. A tunnel that is used everywhere, a separate grade intersection where vehicles will pass on top and passengers will pass below.
This is the fourth test run to be done at the terminus, with its official launch date remaining unknown. The test run will be done till Sunday this week, with the exact timelines to be announced in the subsequent days. Zainab Mohammed, T47. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged Kenyan men to invest in their families and shun secret lovers to ensure meaningful development. Now, he was speaking when he issued title deeds to Kenyans here in Nairobi. The head of state also at the same time warned land grabbers, saying that their days are numbered. Paul Muniu reports.
President Uhuru Kenyatta today issued title deeds at the Kenya International Convention Center in an event that was attended by thousands of Kenyans. The president took time to highlight some of his government achievements, noting that the national government has made major strides in streamlining the lands departments.
As part of this program, we established the National Titling Center, the Rapid Titling Initiative, land clinics, and formed links with both land buying companies as well as county governments. And these progressive measures were buttressed by enhanced recruitment of technical staff and the deployment of other critical resources, including motor vehicles and survey equipment. And 9 years later, the success achieved is really unbelievably remarkable.
Uhuru Kenyatta has, however, warned those planning to grab public land, saying their days are numbered.
Kuna wengine wamezoea kuiba mali ya umma. Anaenda anatembea, kuna wengine na hawakuwa na kazi nyingine. Kazi yao ilikuwa kuzunguka, wanaamuka asubuhi, kuzunguka Nairobi, kuzunguka Mombasa, kuangalia pahali ambapo hakuna mtu, na hii ni ya nani? Na hii ni ya nani? Hiyo pia ni enzi zilizopita. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo inaweza kutendeka tena.
In addition, the president has called on those who will benefit from the titling program to invest wisely to ensure a better future for their families.
Mzee akipata title deed, anaona hii ni mali yake, anasahau ako na jamii. Wakiongea hapo anasema mimi naenda kujenga nyumba, anaenda kukopa, lakini badala ya kujenga nyumba kwa bibi na watoto ambao wako nao, pesa ikiingia, akitoka benki, akipitia hapo mtaani kidogo, anakutwa na kengine hapo.
Beneficiaries who received their title deeds did not hide their joy as they expressed their gratitude to the government for coming through after the years of wait.
Tunafurahia hivyo rais anasema, maana amejaribu kupigana na watu na amejaribu kuokoa, maana watu wamekuwa grabbers wa mashamba ya watu. Kama hizi maplot tumepata leo tunashukuru, maana kwetu Narok ilikuwa nawekeleo plot watu 3, watu 4 na mtu analipa pesa inapotelea.
Nasikia vizuri sana kwa sababu tumeigoja kwa muda mrefu. Kwa hivyo tunaona miujiza inatendeka. Tunamshukuru Mungu na kumuombea Uhuru, Mungu amubariki na endelee kumdumisha.
The land question that has hindered personal growth among Kenyans for the fear of being evicted from their lands has now found a solid solution. Paul Munio, TV47, KICC, Nairobi.
Now, the late Sophia Gathoni, who was shot dead by armed robbers inside her shop located at the famous Adams Arcade Market, has been laid to rest at her current home in Nairobi. Our reporter Elizabeth Atieno attended the burial ceremony and filed the following report.
The final journey of the late Sophia Gathoni, who died on the 11th of this month after she was shot by armed robbers while at her M-Pesa shop in Adams Arcade Market, started with a Requiem Mass at the Regina Kaeli Catholic Church in Karen, Nairobi.
The late Sophia Gathoni Kamau was attacked and shot by gangsters at her M-Pesa shop on Saturday 11th June 2022 and was rushed to Nairobi Women's Hospital for treatment by her work colleagues. She was admitted in the ICU ward where she unfortunately passed away on the evening of 13th June 2022 while undergoing treatment.
Family and friends congregated in this church to pay their last respect for the late Gathoni.
I know we have so many queries within our hearts because the demise, I know, happened in a very weird way, a very strange way. It was a big shock, but we thank God in everything.
Many have eulogized her as a loving, caring and hard-working woman who did not deserve to die in such a manner.
She has been an intelligent, hard-working, and has always been with her family members at heart, whether at home, place of work, or at social gatherings. She always came with something to eat or drink for her family members.
Remember the moments we used to meet. We could embrace each other with a beautiful hug because you can see even the portrait which is here, the face is smiling. So had a very good heart and a very, very happy person.
At exactly 1:15 p.m., the procession embarked on a 6-kilometer journey to Karinde area in Karen for Gathoni's burial ceremony. Emotions ran high at the burial site as family members stared at the grave in utter disbelief, with some, including the deceased second-born daughter Maureen Nyambura, unable to control her emotions.
Mimi kwangu naweza nitakumbuka mamangu kwa advice zake. Upendo wake, yani alikuwa na ile moyo wa upendo na kucheka jovyo mingi, yani na kushughulika mambo na familia. Mimi Kenya alinifunza, aliniambia anga nikuwe too responsible, ni take over kama as a woman. I stand up as a woman.
The family of the late 53-year-old Gathoni are now pleading with the government to speed up investigations and bring the culprit, whose identity was disclosed by the DCI, to book.
It is something that really hurts us as a family, and all we would pray is that justice will be done for those who were involved in this crime, we would pray that they would have their day in courts.
Elizabeth Atino, TV 47.
Very unfortunate. We really hope that the family does find comfort. On to business. Miraa farmers have a reason to smile after Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya announced the abolition of oppressive measures for the industry's progress. According to the CAS, the measures, which include the abolition of license and transportation levies, will go a long way in ensuring the recovery of the sector following the COVID pandemic, adding that tea farmers are set to receive bonuses in the coming month.
Nimesema kama waziri wa kilimo na nikisatazama shinda zile siko kwa sekta ya miraa, ufukara ule umekuja eneo hili kwa sababu ya shinda mingi. Nimesema hakuna malipo yoyote itawekwa na serikali ya taifa kwa wale wanataka kuuza miraa, wale wanataka kuuza hapa Kenya na hata wale wanataka kuuza nje ya Kenya. Lakini mnajua hapa Kenya, kuuza hapa Kenya, hiyo ni kazi ya county. Kwa hivyo tunauliza serikali ya kaunti ya Meru na zile kaunti zingine ambazo miraa huuzwa pia wafanye hivyo, ndio tusaidie wakulima wa miraa.
Jubilee Holdings has approved a total dividend of 1.1 billion shillings for its shareholdings, bringing the final dividend to 14 shillings per share for the year 2021. This comes after the insurance company reported a 66% increase in profit before tax, attributing the strong performance to good performance in life and health insurance business.
Overall, PBT increased by 3.4 billion shillings, Kenya shillings, to 8.4 billion Kenya shillings, the largest in the insurance sector, and in fact, representing 50% of the total profits of the insurance industry. This performance was the result of a growth of Kenya shillings 1.4 billion in the health insurance and a growth of 1.2 billion Kenya shillings in the life insurance business. Our total assets have now increased by Kenya shillings 9 billion to 155 billion shillings, which is the largest in the industry.
Welcome to sport. The sixth and toughest round of the World Rally Championship Series